Konnichiwa, everyone. Welcome to the Weerds podcast, where we talk on all things weebish and nerdish. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed today's episode. Today's podcast bending, covers the TV show Avatar: The Last Airbender. What are you laughing at?
Nothing. Go on with your podcast bending of sorts.
Oh, come on. You like the Demon Slayer one.
I don't remember the Demon Slayer one.
Podcast
I
breathing.
remember now. Yeah, I remember now.
You said you liked it.
It doesn't mean I like this one.
What's wrong with podcast bending? It's
Nothing.
literally the same thing.
Nothing. It's pretty good.
You're just mad you didn't come up with it.
What do you mean? I wrote the script.
What the hell did I do?
Read it.
Make it. Write it. Alright, so the Avatar: The Last Airbender, it ran from February 21st, 2005 to July 19th, 2008. So, 3 years.
One book a year.
Yep. So, after 100 years, the war between the Fire Nation and the other nation rages on with no sight and end. The Avatar, protector of the world, disappeared 100 years ago, but now 2 members of the Southern Water Tribe has discovered the new Avatar and must help him fulfill his duty and bring balance to the world. Pretty cool stuff, huh?
Yeah.
So,
You know how you bring balance to the world?
what?
You get something of equal mass to counterbalance it.
Is that the only science you learned in class?
Yep. Why do you think I'm not an airbender? Why do you think I'm not a bender to begin with?
Because it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Alright, so the executive producers who also created the show was Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. Production company was Nickelodeon Animation Studios, and they've actually had 3 different animation companies throughout the years. It was Jam Animation for 32 episodes, DR Movie for 19 episodes, and Moy Animations for 10 episodes. Which I didn't know, because the animation all looked the same, so
Consistency.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
pretty good. Well, thinking about it, the 3rd book did have cleaner, nicer, more amped up animation than the first book.
Yeah, I mean the third book is also the third book also had the most action in it, so
Yeah.
it could also be that. But yeah, no, you're right.
So, what was your first time you watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
What was the first time? When was the first time I watched Avatar?
Let's see.
Because the only thing the earliest memory I have of Avatar: The Last Airbender
Yeah.
was when I was a kid, and I was watching. It was actually the book 1 finale. Yeah, the book 1 finale when Aang went to the spirit world to interact with Ko, the face stealer.
Yeah.
I was maybe like 10. Or I was like really young, and that part creeped me out. It's probably why I remember it vividly. But that was the earliest I remember watching it. And then eventually I got the DVD for book 1.
Right.
Watched it, then book 2, and then Netflix came around.
Good old Netflix.
But yeah, my first interaction with Avatar was the fear of getting my face stolen.
What a great introduction.
Right?
So I watched it when my family still had cable.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually watched the first episode when it first released, and after that we just kept up on it, make sure we got to every single episode. And I remember when the Day of the Black Sun, when that whole event episode, because it was a 2-parter,
Mm-hmm.
they hyped it up so much, and I actually wrote it on the calendar, making sure we didn't miss the day that it came out.
That was kind of me with Legend of Korra. Like I watched it like as each episode came out.
Yeah.
The only difference is I only got to about 4 episodes before I remembered. This is why I don't watch TV. It's too much stress to keep up with schedules, you know.
Yeah.
But I did like the four episodes that I did watch aired. Then I obviously rewatched it through Netflix.
Right.
But See,
Well,
you watched all of Avatar. I only got into episode 4 of Korra.
I watched all of it, and then I got the box set for it.
Actually, I didn't even watch the first 4 episodes. I watched episodes 1 through 3, and then episode like 5 or 6.
Just skip episode 4.
Yeah, because I forgot it was, again, it's a scheduled thing because it's on TV. I completely forgot it was there. So,
I mean, that's why I like streaming services rather than cable, because you can actually, watch on your own time.
yeah, the beauties.
Yeah.
The beauty of modern technology.
I just noticed, like, this came out in 2005.
Right.
There's a lot of great shows that came out in 2005. There's Last Airbender,
Yeah.
Doctor Who,
True.
Supernatural.
Never seen it.
So here's quick tidbit: Supernatural, good for the first 4 seasons. After that, it went straight downhill.
Okay.
That's all you need to know for that.
Okay. What else came out in 2005?
Those are the top 3 that popped in my head.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there's more, but
Joke's on you. I don't even remember 2005.
I mean, does anybody?
I'm trying to.
Do you even remember this morning?
Honestly, no.
Exactly. Honestly, this morning feels so far away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because you had energy this morning.
I don't know where the energy came from, to be honest.
I think you were just hyped about Avatar.
Kind of was. Avatar, going to Barnes & Noble. It's been a good day today.
You want to do another Avatar podcast, but the blue people?
I mean, we could.
No one's gonna watch it.
So, what was your initial reaction watching the show? Because you started the Face Stealer episode, so that must have been interesting.
When I started it, because again that was the end of book 1, and then I started at book 1.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was good at the start. It kind of slow if it's your first time watching, in my opinion.
Wait, you said you started the Face Stealer episode?
Yeah, wasn't that book 1?
That was in the end of book 1. That was like in the middle.
Same thing.
For you, yeah, probably.
Same thing. But it was slow at the start for most people who haven't watched Avatar yet, because it kind of slowly brings you into.
I mean, it's slowly introducing you to the characters, the world you're in.
But I thought it was good after maybe halfway through book 1. Maybe a couple episodes in.
That's fair.
It's always fun to watch the start of TV shows or anime, especially ones that are kind of like Avatar, where huge fan base, everyone loves it. There's so many good memories of the show.
Yeah.
So it's always good to start at the start.
Yeah.
I was always stupid and always thought there was 4 books, because 4 elements.
I mean, if they did a prequel of Aang's training.
Yeah.
But
They could have.
They could have, but we didn't really need it.
Yeah. I feel like that would have also been like a I feel like that would have probably been like a book 2, 3, if not a book 4 thing, where they like go through the whole story, and then book 4 would be Air, which is before Aang went running.
Yeah.
So I don't really know where it would fit completely, or if it would fit at all.
I think it was fine, just 3 books.
Yeah.
It would. I don't think there would be a need for a prelude.
But again, my 10-year-old brain was like, "Oh, there's 4 elements. There's 4 books. There's 4 volumes, 4 seasons."
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from. That.
Mm-hmm.
What really got me hooked on the show was because I've been a huge fan of anime all my life.
Really?
No way.
Yeah, I never knew.
A weeb fan of anime.
Did you know that I'm a fan of Pokemon? That's right. It's so weird. I found this out yesterday.
Animal Crossing hat.
No, this is Pokemon. It's a leaf stone. Just like how yours is a Pac-Man.
Get out. I do this myself. But I was really hooked into it because it's obviously inspired by anime and Japanese or Asian influenced.
Right.
So I was like, I got really hooked into it, especially how unique they did the fighting. And so as the story developed, it just got more and more interesting.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially when how you mentioned the fighting styles,
Yeah.
because all the elements fight in their own different styles, but they're also so obviously they're uniquely different, but they're so uniquely different.
And that's why Aang destroys everyone he meets, is because it's been 100 years since anyone has seen an airbender.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows how to fight them anymore.
True. True.
Like, there's no set thing. Also, airbenders were pacifists,
Mm-hmm.
so they didn't do much fighting, so there's no really record of them fighting in any of their styles.
Yeah.
So that's why everyone who deals with Aang is like, what is going on with this kid?
Why is this kid flying? I can't reach him from here with my fire.
They surely try, though.
Yeah, they do. Funny enough, though, I'm looking at the ghost in the corner. Leave me alone. Funny enough, though, how I say they're unique enough to be uniquely different.
Mm-hmm.
There are some instances in the show where I don't remember the exact. It's I think it's the end of book 1 where Zuko and Katara are fighting.
Yeah.
This is more for the visual part, but there's an animation where she like pulls up water
Yeah.
and then she shoves at Zuko.
Yeah.
Later on in the books, I don't remember which one, if it was 2 or 3, Zuko kind of does the same motion but with fire.
Yeah.
So they can kind of they're unique, but they can also learn from each other.
That's because Iroh has studied the other 4 elements.
Are we sure Iroh is not the avatar?
Iroh is the firebending avatar.
He is. I mean, he can do lightning.
Remember, they're redirecting lightning. That's derived from waterbending style.
Mm-hmm.
So and you notice when they blend styles with Zuko's the only one who does those kind of stuff where they're kind of blended from other techniques of the other bending elements. All the other firebenders are straight power motions, all that. So Iroh has taught Zuko a lot about how to do techniques from the other bendings, like his fire breathing technique when he keeps himself warm in the cooler. That's an airbending technique. Airbenders keep themselves warm or cold through their breathing. That's why Aang always just has his jumpsuit the whole time, while Sokka and Katara are in, fur gear and all that.
I never picked that up. That's really cool.
Yeah, so Zuko uses airbending techniques. His stances sometimes are a lot like earthbending, where he, strong, structured, and then he has, like you said, waterbending techniques that he uses in his fight style.
Yeah, I never picked up on that. That's cool. Can we have a different dimension Avatar: The Last Airbender, but Iroh's the Airbender this time?
Avatar the Iroh.
Iroh, the last Avatar.
I mean, I'd watch that.
I would too. Did they ever explain? I don't remember. Did they ever explain how how he had connections to the spirit world? Did he travel to it and come back, or I don't exactly remember.
I think there was instances where they spoke about how he has entered the spirit world before.
Because that's how he's always been so wise and learning this and that.
I think that just derives from his thirst for knowledge, and he studied probably spirits in the spirit world, and then you also remember he learned from the dragons to become the Dragon of the West. So I'm sure while he was there training with the dragons, powering up his firebending, he was learned more about spirits there. He's just a very spiritual person, I think.
Basically, it's side plot convenience.
Basically, yeah.
That's fair. He's still such a great character.
He is a good character. So, your personal review. How would you sell this show to somebody to get them to watch it?
Fire.
Fire.
Yeah. Who doesn't like fire?
Let's go up to somebody and say, fire.
Yeah. Look, if you walk up to someone, right, and you just say fire and walk away, they're going to come chasing you like, what do you mean fire? Oh, let me tell you.
Hey, I got this movie theater. Let's go.
let me tell you, not only fire, there might also be water, and a little earth, definitely some air.
Honestly, it was mostly Earth.
No, that's true.
The most amount of time they spent in the nation was the Earth Kingdom. Maybe
Fair.
that's because the Earth Kingdom has the most amount of land.
Probably because the air temples are abandoned and aren't really too useful for the plot.
Yeah.
The water tribes are on literally the opposite sides of the world.
Yeah.
They're not allowed. They're basically not allowed in the Fire Nation. So that really just leaves. And plus, the Earth Kingdom always has the bigger cities and more things for plot, anyways.
When you're talking about how the North and South Pole are so far apart from each other, as I was reading online, and people were like, you know, Katara and Sokka must have traveled outside the South Pole before, because how did they know to take off their, to have different clothing for warmer weather?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, they just took their coats off. That when the weather got warmer, they took their coats off. What's like?
It's like in the winter when you walk outside, it's cold, so you dress up for it.
Yeah, it's like
When you go back inside, it's warmer. You take your jacket off.
it's like, hey, it's getting warmer out here, Sokka. You're right. Let's take off these fur coats.
Yeah,
That was just a funny thing that popped in my head. It's like,
it's just common sense.
you think people got common sense?
Nope.
And that's why we do this podcast.
Exactly. So we can, so we can further expand their non-common sense.
The way I get people to watch this show is, if you want to see an American cartoon that's done well,
Fair.
because honestly, you watch any other kids' cartoons nowadays, in my opinion, aren't that good.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, SpongeBob. But I'm talking about current. Well, SpongeBob is current still, isn't it?
No, it ended.
Oh, it ended.
I think it ended with like
The
21.
Lord.
I think it ended with like 21 seasons or something like that.
It's 21 too long.
Yeah, and that's not. I don't even know how many episodes were in each season either. The only thing I know is that I remember watching that like more than 10 years ago. So
It's sad.
I know. How do you think I ended up the way I was now?
Yeah, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Go ahead and watch SpongeBob, kids.
don't. Yeah, this honestly, they should make more kids shows like The Last Airbender because it was thought provoking. It
Mhm.
made you think. It tackled sensitive issues in a way that kids could understand, and it was a great story, great action, and great characters. What more could you ask for?
A good movie.
God, The Last Airbender movie. We don't talk about it. It doesn't exist.
No, hold on. This is a fair question though. If you were forced to watch one of these movies, which would you watch? Avatar, The Blue People, or Avatar: The Last Airbender movie?
Avatar Blue People.
Fair.
See, while I hate movies so much,
Mm-hmm.
it's not an objectively bad movie. I just hate the fact that people overhype it too much.
Oh, that's fair. I mean,
It's not that terrible of a movie.
you don't
but-
want to watch a movie where they do like a synchronized dance for an hour and one rock flies across the screen.
God, this movie was so terrible. First off,
By the way, for people who haven't watched it, that is what there's
yeah,
like
that's
10,
a literal scene.
there's
in
like
the
what
movie.
8 or 10 people in choreography just dancing,
Doing
and then
this
they go, "Ha!"
really complicated rhythmic dance
For
and
one-
the pebble I could just pick up and throw at
Yeah,
someone.
it's not even a boulder, nor it's not a tiny rock, but it's also not a boulder. You can easily it's like the size of like a soccer ball almost, and it just goes. It doesn't even fly. It just glides.
It glides and then it hits the dude who does a triple backflip.
Yeah.
And it's like, this movie makes no sense.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like the firebending is any better, but that's easier
None
to
of
animate.
it was any better.
Fair.
Honestly, I think their first mistake was getting M. Night Shyamalan to direct the movie.
Also fair.
He's a great director at horror movies.
Mm,
He's, to my knowledge, he doesn't do any kids' movies. So getting him to direct a kids movie.
I mean, would you not consider it a horror movie at this point?
It is definitely a horror movie, but not a horror movie. It's a horror of a movie.
True.
It's not a horror movie.
Also, to end this little segment of us ranting, Ung.
Oh my gosh. It's not even like it's based off of a book where you can take creative liberties on how to pronounce names. It's a TV show with how they pronounce the names.
Where do you even get a U from?
Right? It's like, it's A-A-N-G. Ang.
At the very least, you can make the joke of A-Ang. Like,
Ang.
yeah.
Like Aaron.
Yeah, but you just go to like you take two A's, and you make a U. One U.
Soka.
Oh, that's right. Did they even get Katara's name right?
I think Katara was the only one, right?
That's the longest name, too.
Also, no offense, but all offense to the main character for Aang, he could not act.
No.
He could not act at all.
Did they get Zuko's name right?
Probably.
I don't even remember Zuko.
If they said Zuko, people will be talking about that a lot more.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember the movie. And that's probably a good thing.
It's really bad. It was such a bad movie. There's not even a saving grace for it.
No.
Like, you jam-packed, 24 episodes in one season of character development, story, everything into 1 2-hour movie.
Basically.
That's a recipe for disaster.
I mean, you can do that, you just gotta do it right.
You can do that, but honestly, create your own story. Create your own story with different little things that happen to create a conclusive story rather than just copy-paste. Because if you copy-paste, it's not going to work.
Basically. That's enough venting.
And that's enough venting. I could go a full hour venting on this movie. It's a terrible movie.
Like I said, I don't really remember the movie, and I think that's a good thing.
It's a really good thing. I am sad that I remember this movie.
Did they even have Momo in the movie? They have Appa, obviously.
They have Appa. I don't remember if they have Momo or not.
That's even sadder.
Yeah, one of the greatest characters in all this series.
Pretty much.
I can't even remember if he's in it or not.
Again, I can't even remember the movie.
Yeah, it's a bad movie. Don't worry about it. It's a bad movie. Going back to the real topic of this podcast.
The better Avatar.
The true Avatar. Who is your favorite character?
Momo.
Momo?
Yeah. No, he was obviously he's meant to be some form of comedic effect. So obviously I like him because he's funny.
Remember what I told you earlier? Momo was originally supposed to be the reincarnation of Monkey Atsu. Which I get why they didn't keep going with that, because I think it would have made. I don't think they could do much with that. Because especially since he can't talk or anything.
He chirps,
but I mean, it's better that they kept him as just the comedic side animal.
But he makes such a good comedic side animal.
He does. Him and Sokka combined, best comedic duo.
Drink cactus juice. It'll quench you.
It's the quenchiest.
And then the whole scene with Momo versus Appa, and Aang's like fever dream. Yeah. That's such a great scene too. Aang's just like, calm down, guys. We don't gotta do this.
Let's talk this through.
Momo has the one sword. Appa, ching, ching,
it's full samurai
ching.
armor.
Yeah, Momo.
Momo. My favorite character is Zuko.
That's fair.
He's always been my favorite character.
It's fire? Is the fire?
Fire, and he just had a good story. He had a really good character story and character development. And unlike a lot of character development in TV shows and movies where it's like a quick change, Yeah. You actually see his whole journey and his whole mindset of, flipping from, hunt the Avatar down to who am I really to I'm back to being Fire Lord Prince, and then finally realizing how terrible of a place the Fire Nation really was. Yeah. And finally letting go of trying to prove himself to his father.
Yeah. Because even he had his own little fever dream scene. Yeah. But he still went against Aang. But he also drifted back into, what am I doing back here? I need to go
Yeah,
help
because
Aang.
he had that turmoil inside of him because he basically at that point lost all connections to the Fire Nation, all
Mm-hmm.
that, and he realizes okay, I can make a life out of this with my uncle, and then Azula appears, and now he's presented with the one. She presents him with the thing that he wanted most of his life, his father's approval.
Right.
And so in his mind he couldn't give that up, and then he's thanks to his uncle's teachings, you see his development in the third book go, oh crap, I made a huge mistake.
Mm-hmm. I've seen people on Reddit discuss, like, because obviously the story of the Avatar the Last Airbender is Aang's journey to save the world,
Yeah.
basically. Some people argue and agree, like they do both,
Mm-hmm.
that it's not only about Aang's story to defeat the Fire Lord, it's also the character development of Zuko. Because Zuko and Aang probably have the most intense character development of all
Yeah.
the characters. And that's fair, because Zuko's a great character, especially with his transition. And the fact that not only he's banished, right? So
Yeah.
obviously he has to go traveling. But the places that he's traveled to and the experiences that he's had made him into the Fire Lord that he becomes at the end.
Yeah.
Like a better person, basically. Because he sees the inner ring, or the outer ring,
Mm-hmm.
of Ba Sing Se, right?
Yeah.
Because he sees that. That's where he has his fever dream and all that. He's seen that. He's seen what the Earth Kingdom really does and blames the Fire Nation.
Scenes all the refugees, all the towns that have been destroyed,
Yeah.
all the people in there.
Yeah, so he actually experiences the world, which makes him a better person to become the Fire Lord, basically. He's not power hungry like his father,
I mean,
or a copycat like his sister.
if you think about it, since the beginning, Zuko never wanted power for the throne or anything. He just wanted his father's approval.
Yeah,
That's all he wanted.
but that's a good person asking for a bad person's
Yeah.
approval. That's just not going to work.
Yeah, he was looking for false hope.
Also, Zuko duck turtle. I showed you that before. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I'll pop it up right
Yeah.
right here. That's apparently like the newest fad, or it might not be the newest fad anymore. But
So-
it's the newest fad of Avatar.
You bringing up the duck turtles?
Mhm.
So, another fun.
Yes,
fact,
I would. Yes, I would like your whole stock, please.
Another fun fact is, Avatar was supposed to take place in a post-apocalyptic world.
Mm-hmm.
So, the whole combination of animals was supposed to be like from radiation or something. So that's why, there's the only single animal that's original is the bear, which creeps everyone out.
You mean the platypus bear? No, just the bear.
You mean gopher bear?
No, she even like turns the paper like, no, it just says bear.
This place is weird.
Mhm.
But yeah.
I don't even remember the bear's name, but he was a great
Bosco.
Bosco. Yeah, he was a great side character
I
too.
wanted Bosco.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted him as a pet.
And the whole entertainment scene with Aang, like he has the different the color
Yeah.
drinks. He's Bosco. Yay!
And
I
then,
love it. I
and
love
when
him.
the bear was introduced, and they're like, "You don't know what I had to do to get the seats this close to the bear." I'm like, why would you want to sit next to a bear?
I mean, if it's the only normal animal, or normal in our case,
I mean, I wouldn't want to sit next to it.
fair.
Maybe like 5 or 6 seats down.
Also, you have to pay to sit. Not only do you have to get into the party somehow, but you have to pay to sit down to eat.
Bribery.
Fair. I mean, Aang and Sokka literally got in by disguising themselves as waiters.
Yeah.
So it can't be that hard to bribe people.
It really can't. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole Ba Sing Se was a corrupt society.
Mm-hmm.
That was the point of the arc.
Now that I think about it too, when Aang reveals himself to the Earth King
Yeah.
by air scootering across the table, I feel like I always felt like that's a rushed part. It's like, how are we gonna make this obvious to the Earth King that the Avatar's here? Oh, just have him fly across the table and make a mess.
I mean, it's within Egg's character.
Yeah, true. But I feel like they could have done something a little more plot conveniency at the same time instead of just, I'm a child, I'm gonna go do this.
I mean, fair, but he is 12.
Exactly. I'm a child. Let me go do this.
Exactly.
This gosh darn.
I mean, also fair. He doesn't really meet the king at that point.
Friggin' Diley.
What's the Law Fang?
Yeah.
Looks like Law Fang is long gone.
Sokka and his friggin' puns, man.
No one could replace Sokka.
And no one did either. Non-Korra.
Another discussion, another time.
Yep.
So, who is your favorite antagonist of the story?
It's not Zuko.
No, because he's a whole separate character.
It has to go between Sparky Boom Man, and only because of the names they have for him.
Sparky Boom Man and Combustion Man.
Yeah, but I also argue with Azula, just because, again, she, unlike Zuko, she kind of was. She kind of wanted to be like her father, and she may have gone too deep into that. But she couldn't just.
So Zuko was like the perfect representation of a person trying to win someone else's approval, but absolutely can't because the person doesn't care. And the other person is a person who's been coddled too much by that person and being driven to always one-up themselves to keep that approval.
And I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say Azula is entirely a good person. What I think makes her my favorite antagonist is specifically at the very end, like the finale.
Yeah.
Is when her character really starts to show, when she's like, getting ready for her
has her mental
whatever
breakdown.
whatever that ceremony is called, when she's like, I'm gonna cut my hair, and she cuts it, and then like their mother appears in the background, and then you really and then you really start to see like she wasn't entirely a bad person. She was more or less like,
she was driven to insanity.
Yeah, so she's not entirely bad, but
like a lot of people forget, Azula was 14 years old.
Yeah.
Like Zuko was 7 or 16.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's pretty close to adulthood, but Azula was 14.
Yeah.
And everything wrong with her character is her father's fault.
Mm-hmm.
He driven her to the point of power over everything else.
Right.
Which I think shows the real reason why Fire Lord Ozai was the villain of the story.
Mm-hmm. Plus her actions during the beach episode when they went to the party.
Oh, she was nuts.
just smile and laugh at everything he says. Oh, you mean like this? Ha 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 ha! And the whole room just goes quiet.
Right? So, what I don't understand about that beach episode, how did no one know who they were? Like, Azula, maybe because she probably doesn't go out in the public as much.
Fair.
Zuko had wanted posters of him. People all knew him as the prince with the big scar on his face.
Mm-hmm.
How did no one recognize him?
Plot convenience?
I guess so.
I mean, I can't really say much else besides that.
I mean, the only argument that I've heard is because they're all kids of elected officials that they just don't follow what goes on in the nation.
That's fair.
That's the only argument I can think of. But still, you'd think at least one person would recognize them.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. Yeah, no. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Probably just plot convenience. I mean, honestly, the beach episode is my least favorite.
Yeah, it's got its moment, right?
Yeah.
When they go to their old beach house or whatever. That moment's fine. That whole emotional thing is fine because that really also shows Zuko's transition of the good guy and what am I really doing back home and all that.
Right.
I think the only good part otherwise was at the end when they crashed the party.
Oh yeah.
Just knock knock, you're back? Sorry, Chad. And then it just zooms in to Zuko. Party's over, bitch. And then he just literally crushes everything.
Yeah.
What's her name? Tylee?
Tylee, yeah.
The gymnastic girl? Just swinging on the chandeliers as it falls. My dad's a general. He doesn't know I'm throwing this party. I'm Ozai's son, and she's the daughter.
We can destroy this place and nobody will say nothing.
Son, what happened? I angered Ozai, the Fire Lord's
His dad
children.
comes back and is like, what happened to my house? It's like, these two kids just went crazy. One had this huge scar on his face, and the other one had this weird hairstyle and was all crazy about power. Did you piss off Ozai's son and daughter?
No,
That's who they were?
He gets home. What happened to my house? Dad, I can explain everything. Oh, hold that thought, son. Thank you. Gets a letter. Hands it to his son. Yeah, let me explain. Hands the letter right back. I think we've said enough.
You're grounded forever.
I mean,
You're banished.
he also technically turned down Azula. Sure, she was creepy with the whole "we'll rule the world together" that scene.
Yeah.
But I mean, he still kind of technically turned her down.
Yeah.
Although at the same time, I think he is more of a frat boy, where he didn't really want to get with Azula. You know.
He also didn't know who she was.
That's fair. Do you think they would have known if they said their names?
Oh yeah, because their names are known throughout the nation.
Yeah. Especially Zuko. Mm-hmm. I mean, people in the Earth Kingdom even knew him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At least one of them should have known who they were.
Like with Zuko's journey episode, right?
Yeah.
Where he defends the town against
Zuko alone.
Yeah, Zuko alone. Even some random village elderly said,
Yeah.
"I know who you are."
As soon as he's like starts firebending, he's like, "Wait, scar on the face, firebender, Prince Zuko."
Yeah, and then the people literally in the Fire Nation. Scar, he firebends, but everyone firebends here. Never heard of him.
Training accident, whatever.
And again, it's just some random elder village person.
Yeah.
They don't. He doesn't even have any other dialogue, probably except for that part.
He had like 2 lines. That one and give him a left. Give him a left.
He's fighting with swords.
He's got 2 swords, ain't he?
He's got a left sword, don't he? Such a great minor character.
Right.
Okay.
So my favorite villain is probably Azula. I mean, that's the most villain that they fight most often.
Right.
I also liked remember the first episode of book 2 when they went to the guy who tried to force the Avatar state out of Aang?
Was he a bad guy?
Well, I call him. Well, he's an antagonist in my opinion because of how he treats Aang and he basically tortures him at the end to force the Avatar state.
I think next to the beach episode, I feel like that episode was also just kind of weird filler.
It was weird filler, but here's why I liked him as an antagonist, because it shows that, while the Fire Nation is the main bad guy, it also showed that, yeah, there's other terrible people in the world, and you need to be, no matter who you are, you need to be careful who you deal with, and help people no matter who they are, kind of thing.
Yeah. That just was so. It wasn't as boring as the beach episode. It just was,
Just filler.
It was but it was like the bad type of filler though.
Yeah.
It was so chaotic and nothing really realistically got done. It was more or less just them wasting a couple days.
Basically.
It wasn't even good. But I do like how it ended though. Because he's like, he's like, you did it when she was in danger. Now we just have to figure out how you can control it. And Sokka just bonk.
That's the only part I like.
Yeah, and he's just like bonk.
So
Any objections? No, we're good. We're good. Did they ever say what happened to him? Or was he literally just there for that episode?
He was just there for that episode.
Yeah, it's a weird filler. Can Momo be the antagonist? Can you imagine if Momo was the Fire Lord the whole time?
There's been theories about that when the show starts to go on.
We're
It's
talking
like
about
Momo's the real Fire Lord.
We're talking about Iroh being the Avatar. Can we talk about Momo being the Fire Lord?
No.
Fire. Oh no, what was it? Phoenix King? Like at the
Oh
end?
yeah, Phoenix King.
Phoenix King Momo.
Oh, you know who
I
else?
love his music too. Momo's little like
Oh, the ding 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 ding.
yeah. Do 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 do. It's so Momo. Just everything about Momo's good. Basically.
The other antagonist that I really liked was in book 3, the Puppet Master.
Oh, the old lady.
Yeah, the old lady. She
True.
was a really good antagonist, just because how creepy she was. That whole episode was like, it gave me the same vibes as the Weeping Angels episode of Doctor Who. It just gave me like those creepy vibes.
It's kind of creepy, too, especially if you try to imagine either you controlling someone or you
Right.
being controlled. It's kind of like how I was as a kid watching, watching the episode with the face stealer, because you have to be completely like emotionless.
Yeah.
Obviously, me being 10-year-olds are not that usually calm and emotionless.
No.
So like when I put myself in that position as a 10-year-old, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, don't make a voice like any facial recognition.
Keep deadpan.
It's like it's those moments that make something good. If you
Yeah.
can imagine yourself in it and really feel the tension,
Yeah.
it's really good. She was also a bit crazy though.
She was. I mean, to be fair, she was imprisoned and tortured for a long period of time by the Fire Nation.
She was
That can driven anyone's insanity.
true. I mean, Azula wasn't in prison, but she still turned out crazy.
That's from child abuse.
That's fair.
So many dark themes in Avatar. Still a great show.
Yeah, it's still sure there is a bunch of dark themes, but most of them also compacts or combat real life issues at the same time and results.
They also do it in a very good way.
Mm-hmm. Do you think
what?
they had medicine in the Avatar world, like antidepressants and all that?
No.
They just had bending.
Yeah. That's the antidepressant.
See, you're either a depressed child or you're
If
a
you're
depressed
not-
child who can will one element in the world.
You either just have depression and have to deal with it, or you got bending.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, let's be fair. Regardless of which element you can bend, it can. I'm sure that's a really good stress relief.
Yeah.
Cause like, what's his face from the episode where all the Earthbenders are trapped in?
Haru.
Yeah, Haru. Like he was angry about the Fire Nation and how he couldn't use his earthbending, which is a gift. All benders are. It's a gift to all the benders, but he took it out on practicing his earthbending.
Yeah.
It's like a stress relief to the Fire Nation and all that good stuff. Obviously, it wasn't too good of a town. That old man. Help! I'm dying.
Right.
Haha! There he is.
Help! I'm being crushed. Alright, I got you, fam. Whew.
Oh, thank you, Earthbender.
Turn him in.
Thank you, Earthbender. Let me just call someone real quick. I got
The
him.
sad part is they probably offer a reward for if you turn in an earthbender.
Yeah,
So that's probably why he did it.
probably. I mean, there's like every town they go to has some poster of like wanted people anyway. So I'm not surprised if someone knows someone from somewhere because they saw the poster in a different town.
Yeah.
Fire Nation, right?
Yeah, great nation. What was your favorite storyline out of all the series?
My favorite storyline. That's hard to choose because there's so many good ones.
Gotta choose, man.
I'd probably go back to what I said a little bit ago and say anything that involved Zuko's transition, because all of those were really good.
So Zuko alone. Zuko,
Yeah. I think Zuko alone was
There's one
also
Zuko on a date.
Yeah. I mean, he's hella awkward, but
I still ship him with that girl.
I don't even remember. Does she even have a name?
I'm sure she said at one point.
Let me fact check because I don't remember her name for the life of me. But I do want to mention while I'm looking this up. I do want to mention that I like how, when it comes to plot, I like how they explained like Appa's trip after he was taken by the Sandbenders.
Yeah.
How he traveled to all the spots that basically Aang went to, but then he crashed through the barn in the ceiling.
Yeah.
And after he flew away, that's when Zuko came around to help them rebuild it. It took me a couple of rewatches to actually realize there's a ceiling in the roof. There's hay here. There's a barn. I recognize the scenery. Appa was here, and I'm like the connections, you know, the way they do everything. It's so good. The last. Also, I like the abbreviation they have for Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Atla?
And Korra, yeah.
What's Korra's?
Oh god, what is Korra?
I thought it was just Korra.
Legend of Korra. LOK.
Oh, Loke.
Yeah. Yeah, Jean, whatever.
I don't think she ever said her name. I don't remember saying her name.
She may have said it once in the form of hi, I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Zuko went under the name of Lee.
Yeah.
It was like, hi, I'm Lee, or
yeah.
hi, I'm Jin, or Jean, or whatever. By the way, saddest episode in all of Avatar, the Tales of Ba Sing Se. Arguably the saddest.
It's even sadder when you think about that. The song Iroh sings.
That's what I mean. Arguably the saddest.
That's in honor of the voice actor of Iroh who died. Now I'm depressed.
I'm quickly just reading through the episode. They don't really give much backstory besides just her being here. So.
Anyways. Yeah.
By the way, she's Fire Nation. It's not official, but I'm saying it.
It's rumored that she's Fire Nation.
No, my word is law. I'm a nerd.
I'm weird.
Welcome to the podcast. Today we're talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Anyways.
Time travel. Anyways.
No time travel.
Yes, time travel.
Bad.
Let's go back to where Sokka and Katara never went on that boat trip that day. Which means they never just ran into Aang. Which means nothing ever happened.
So, my favorite storyline is honestly when Aang went to school.
Oh, I love that.
That was such a great episode.
Excuse me. This didn't happen. Were you there 100 years ago?
Excuse me, the Air Nomads didn't have a formal military, so it defeated them by ambush. How'd you know that? Are you the Avatar?
I'm gonna just give it my best guess.
Right.
I like everyone's reaction too. They're just like,
you talk back to a teacher?
Yeah, right? It's not even the fact that he corrected her.
Right.
It's the fact that you talked back to her.
And then when they were writing the oath to the Fire Lord poster, and he was just like blah 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 blah.
Fire
blah.
Lord, blah blah, Ozai, blah blah, Fire, blah blah, Nation, blah blah.
Funny thing is, that's a reference. At least I'm not sure if this is official or not, but it seems like a reference to North Korea and how they basically worship the North Korean leader. What's his name? Kim Jong-un?
Something like that.
Something like that. And where they'll actually do something like that where they, during schools, they'll turn to a poster of him and recite a pledge towards him.
I believe it.
Yeah, I believe it. So, what would you give this show rating?
10 momos to 5 cabbages.
My cabbages!
The zoo, Tales of Ba Sing Se with Aang. My cabbages! Oh, whatever. Yeah, just whatever. Go for it. I don't care. So yeah, 10 momos to 5 cabbages.
I'd give 10 Aangs with hair
With hair.
out of 11 Zuko's without hair.
Weird.
Yeah.
Are we talking Zuko?
Talking about Zuko season 1.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the weird fusion between Zuko.
No, I changed my mind. That's what it
That's
is.
what I thought you were gonna say. When he has his like fever dream, he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I just gotta wash my face real quick."
So
10
10 Aangs out of 11 weird Zuko avatar faces.
Y'all want to ship Aang and Zuko? This is the result you get.
No.
I
No.
guarantee you that's already a thing.
No.
If they did Sokka and Azula, I'm pretty sure they did Aang and
No.
Zuko.
Shippers need to stop. Do ships that make sense.
You know as well as I do, in any show, any fandom, any movie, there's at least one gay ship. And I'm pretty sure Aang and Zuko is in there somewhere.
My Hero Academia fandom.
Exactly.
2 characters show up on screen, ya gay.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Literally, I think I told you this before, but the fandom, a lot of the fans of the fandom, sent death threats to the author, saying to make the Bakugo Deku ship canon. That's when you go too far.
Yeah, that's when you go a little bit too far.
You can have an opinion, just don't threaten people.
Since we're on the topic, who would you ship Sparky Boom Man with? For some reason, I feel like him and Azula would get along.
The age difference, though.
Okay, if they were the same age,
If they were the same age, fine. Yeah.
I feel like they would get along.
That
They both kind of have that same.
That would be a devastating combo.
Yeah, they both kind of had that same insanity level of insanity.
Yeah.
But yeah, if age wasn't really a factor, but unfortunately it is.
I
Or
mean,
fortunately, actually,
I mean, they are fictional characters, though.
it hasn't
That's the
stopped.
whole-
It
that's the
doesn't
whole
stop
debate.
people. It doesn't stop people
That's a
from
huge
shipping.
debate with things like, yes, they are technically this age, but
Mhm.
they are fictional characters. That doesn't matter.
Yeah,
So
we're getting into some weird territory.
let's go on to the interesting facts section of the episode.
You want to talk about time travel?
No
Okay.
time travel. No hush. Bad hush.
There we go. That works. I'll see what I can do.
Alright, so, interesting facts. Zuko was actually almost not introduced into the show. Originally, the writers just wanted Fire Lord Ozai to be the villain throughout all 3 seasons.
Right. Well, she kind of technically still is.
He is
But-
the big bad, but he's not the main villain of
Yeah,
all 3 seasons.
he's kind of just an indirect main final boss kind of villain. But yeah, I get it.
But they figured they couldn't do much with him just sitting on the throne menacingly, so they just decided to create Zuko instead. Which is a good thing, because Zuko's one of the best characters.
Zuko just appeared.
Poof.
That's how babies are made. You just appear.
Don't say that.
Want to talk about time travel?
No.
Okay.
Bad hush.
Okay.
Hush. Hush, hush. Alright.
I don't like you sometimes.
The feeling's mutual.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Great.
Another interesting fact, which, by the way, the what I'm about to talk about, I'm about to drop a fact about Lake Laogai. By the way, loved that story arc too.
Yeah.
Not as much as what I said earlier, but it's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Especially the part where, oh no, the powerful Avatar, Toph, Katara, we're trapped. What do we do? Whoosh, you know.
Yeah.
Abba for the day. Anyways, I just had to get that in there. The term Laogai stands for. I'm gonna butcher this. Lao Dong Gaizo.
Guy Zhao.
Same thing.
But you got it.
I did my best. Which means, quote, reform through labor. It was derived from many labor camps throughout all of China. And any person who spoke against the Chinese, yeah, Chinese Communist Party were sent there. I don't know how I almost butchered Chinese when I was right the whole time.
Censored. Bam. China's like, take this man down. You can't pronounce China.
Take this man down. He can't read.
Yeah. You know, when you think about what they did a really good job with the namings and all this, because that basically describes Ba Sing Se.
Yeah.
Because the moment they started going against Ba Sing Se rules, Dai Li agents were put on them.
Yeah, they literally crept. They're earthbenders, but they can still hide in the shadows very easily.
Toph didn't notice.
Uh-huh.
Like, they were across the street. I mean, she probably did notice, but just thought they were other people.
Oh god, I think it was when their cover was blown in the party, right?
Yeah.
And the Dai Li knew who they needed. They so sneakily had like the rock hands.
Yeah.
Very sneakily over the mouth and over the stomach or chest and just pulled them towards them.
Yeah, and
like it's so sneaky.
And they did it so fast that Toph couldn't react.
Mm-hmm. And again, they're just literally everywhere.
Yeah.
You could say something and they'll come out of your floor for no reason, like somehow. They're so just
they're ninjas, man.
earthbending ninjas.
So my favorite part of that whole arc is when they decided to break the rules of Ba Sing Se, and Tom was like, "Yeah, let's break some rules," and just blows a wall through the house.
Yeah, Toph, when Toph actually became like a standard character.
Yeah.
For the group, not like the starting, but like more into it.
Yeah.
She became amazing.
Yeah, she's a great character.
She wakes up with her hair all like spiked up. All right, I'm good.
All right.
You got dirt all over yourself. I'm an earthbender.
Dirt is my middle name.
That's like you showering and saying, "Oh, Guitar, you got water on you. You're a waterbender."
It's like, no, really?
Aang has air on him all the time. He's an airbender.
Zuko's on fire. He's a firebender.
And then Sokka has a boomerang.
Greatest bender of all.
Oh no.
Bender.
Oh no, I just remember that one scene at the finale. Sorry, Toph. I don't think Boomerang's coming back this time. Where he throws Boomerang and doesn't come back. I just remember that part. No.
He also lost a sword.
True.
He lost a lot of his weapons.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy at the end.
Yeah.
And then he went into politics.
Anyways.
So
Go ahead. Another interesting fact is the elemental bending movements are all based on real life martial arts.
Don't they, real quick, I don't know what the hell that noise was. Don't they mention that at some point at like fire bending or water bending? Because I feel like when there's a main character who is teaching another character about bending. You know what? Just ignore that. I don't know what I'm talking about. Go ahead. I actually don't know what I'm talking about.
None of us do.
Shut up. Go ahead.
So, Earth is based off of Hung Gar Kung Fu, which is strong stances and strong hand techniques.
Handy.
The Fire Nation is based off Northern Shaolin Kung Fu. It's one of the oldest, largest, and most famous styles of Kung Fu, and it has three basic skill classifications. Basic skills: stamina, flexibility, and balance. Power skills: Qigong, meditation. And combat skills: barehanded weapon and barehanded versus weapons. And you actually see this a lot, especially with Zuko. He has great stamina. He was able to swim in freezing cold water in the North Pole for long periods of time.
Yeah, while holding his breath, no less.
You do see him do a lot of meditation, and he is really good at combat, especially hand to hand and with two-handed weapons.
Well, and not even that. When we mentioned the swimming in frozen northern water.
Yeah.
Not only did that, but he proceeded to walk through basically a blizzard to a cave.
Yeah.
And he was still fine after that.
Yeah.
Like, this man is, at that point,
he's determined.
Mm-hmm. Well, at that point, he was determined.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So water is based off of Tai Chi, which is the internal Chinese martial art practiced for defense training, health benefits, and meditation. And a big part of it is yin and yang, which is what the two fish are represent, yin and yang.
They actually say differently in the anime, in the show.
What?
They say yin and yang. At least that's how they portrayed it with the face dealer.
Yeah, yin and yang, yin yang, same difference.
I've never heard. I see again. That confused me when he first said it because I'm like, I thought it was yang.
It is.
Am I just wrong?
Maybe they want to change it up a little.
Ung.
Yang.
No, ung.
No, yang.
Same thing.
Also, another big part of Tai Chi is using your opponent's force against them. Which is, I think, a lot of what the Airbenders do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So airbending is based on Bagu Zhang, which utilizes circle walking as an integral part of the training. Its movements employ the whole body with smooth coiling and uncoiling actions, and uses hand techniques, dynamic footwork, and throws. Basically, watch what Aang does.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I feel like they really portray that with his first interaction with Zuko, that first little fight, and I also think they touch on it more in Korra. Mm-hmm. That's where the Airbenders are being reborn.
Yeah.
But they really portray that with the big circle wooden platforms or whatever.
Oh, the spinning.
Yeah, those things, the spinning things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The circular motion, and then again with Aang fighting Zuko, he's always behind him, always trying to keep a distance. I always liked the airbending fighting technique.
Yeah.
I always thought it was more.
It's entertaining to watch.
It really is. It's also really entertaining to see Zuko like freak out, like he's over here. No, he's over here, and Aang's just like, I'm over here.
Like I said, it's been 100 years since anyone has seen it in Airbender, so it's even more confusing.
And plus, again, he is only 12.
Yeah.
So he's got to have some fun. My life's in danger.
Dude, remember in the school episode when the school bully tried to fight Aang?
Mm-hmm.
That was the funniest thing to watch.
Yeah. That's so fun. That's so good.
Aang was so nonchalant too. It's like, man, after fighting like Zuko and all these other enemies, you are weak.
Pretty much. I mean, to be fair, he is only a school kid.
To be fair, he's the same age as Zuko.
To be fair, he's not the Fire Lord's son.
He's really no one is.
True. Not at this rate. One interesting fact about Avatar: The Last Airbender that I didn't actually think about or consider when watching the show. Most shows, most shows usually have a last name for characters.
Yeah.
Especially for animes. The only characters that actually have last names in Avatar: The Last Airbender is Toph and her family.
Yep.
The Bay Fongs. Well, I feel like that's only here for the convenience of they're just a wealthy family, so they need to have.
And also, it comes up later when they need to cross the ferry.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I'm part of the Bay Fong family."
Yeah.
So it does have some plot significance.
Yeah.
So it does play part of the plot, but it's interesting to think about. Hold on. Okay, I'm good. So, because even the Fire Lord, all the members of the Fire Nation royal family, they don't have a last name.
Here's the real question: do they not have a last name, or do they officially not have a last name? But here's my other argument: is again, Toph and her family, at least in her little village, right, or city or whatever it's called, they're the wealthiest family of it. Yeah. So of course, people with most wealthy families will have the last name.
Yeah.
And that's the only other reason I can think of besides, like you said.
Well, they're the only ones whose last names have been said in the show.
Yeah.
So, no one else has last names.
As far as we know.
Actually, scratch that. There is 2 characters that had last names.
Yes, sir.
Katara and Sokka as Aang's parents. Mr. and Mrs. Fire.
Was it Fire? Oh, yeah. God, I can't remember.
Yeah, because Sokka was Wang Fire, and
Katara
that's right. Was Sapphire Fire.
Oh, that's right. You know Sokka made Sapphire Fire.
Yeah.
You know he did that.
Mr. and Mrs. Fire.
Sokka's just... It's just Sokka.
Yeah.
There's nothing else you can say. What else do you have to say? It's just Sokka.
He came up with that on the spot because he's like, fire, laying fire, and this is my wife, Sapphire.
Sapphire Fire. I like that Guitar went with it though.
I mean,
Yeah,
she grew
please-
up with Sokka.
yeah. It's like, pleased to meet you, Sapphire Fire. At your service.
I mean, also you look at in the South Pole,
Mm,
they were the only two in their teenagers.
true.
So the only person she could play with was Sokka.
Also true.
So it's kind of sad if you think about it.
I like the Sokka also kept the beard too throughout the rest
Right.
of the episode.
Sokka, you can take that off now. No, it has permanently become part of my body.
He wishes.
He really does. No facial hair for you. Alright, arigato everyone for watching. Thanks for watching to the end of the episode. If you enjoyed our content, like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell to keep updated on our future episodes. We look forward to making more content. Sayonara.
Bye. Want to talk about time travel?